G'day, Ziggy D here with a bit of Diablo 3 news. Blizzard is considering changing the Magic Find gear swapping mechanic in the game, and after a short talk with the community yesterday, they've come up with 5 options that they're considering. Now, people have differing opinions on the Magic Find gear swapping mechanic. Some people think that it's silly to have to do something like that and that you're compelled to do it even though you don't want to, and other people think that it's a fine mechanic in the game. Nonetheless, the vast majority of people want some sort of change, and Blizzard's listened, and this is what they're considering. The first option they're considering is setting a Magic Find cap. This is a hard cap, no matter how much Magic Find you have on your gear, and it would be somewhere between 100 and 2%. Now, Nephilim Valor would factor into this, so somewhere between 25 and 100%, 125% on your gear would be all that's needed to reach the cap. Now, while this creates an interesting mechanic with gearing your character to try and hit the cap, it doesn't really fix the problem of Magic Find gear changes. You're still going to change out your gear to try and hit that cap just before the kill happens. The second option they're considering is kind of a weird one, slowly adjusting Magic Find over time. So when you change your gear, it takes a while for your Magic Find to actually hit your gear Magic Find. So that's something they suggest here, is that it could be like 1% change every 3 seconds. So it might take you a minute to hit your full Magic Find after a gear swap. Again, this is an interesting idea, but I don't really think that it's going to stop people from swapping out their gear. All this would essentially be doing is nerfing the amount of Magic Find that you get from a gear swap, and people are still going to change and just try and draw out the last 20 seconds of a fight. I don't really think it'll have the desired effect. Now, the third option is actually my favourite. It's using your average Magic Find or your lowest Magic Find in the last 5 minutes. Personally, I prefer the average Magic Find, so this means that you could still swap your gear, but there's not really that much incentive to do so. An idea that I think would be even better than this is having something like a Magic Find to damage dealt ratio, so that the amount of Magic Find that you have per point of damage that you do is factored out over the entire life of the creatures that you kill, the mobs that you kill. So if you have higher Magic Find for your majority of the damage you deal, then you're going to get more Magic Find for the kill. But if for the most part you're just using your normal gear and then switching to Magic Find gear at the end for the last hit, you're not really going to get that much Magic Find bonus. I think this would actually fix it, and I don't think Blizzard is considering an option like this. Still, using your average Magic Find or lowest Magic Find in the last 5 minutes is somewhat close to that idea. Now, the fourth option they're considering is zeroing out your Magic Find for 3 minutes after swapping gear. So basically, when you swap gear, your Magic Find is going to be disabled for 3 minutes. Now, this would be absolutely effective at stopping people from swapping their gear just for Magic Find, because no one's really going to wait 3 minutes to try and kill something. In fact, I think in that time the health of the mobs is going to go straight back up, so it's kind of pointless. The only downside to this is that it adds a fair bit of ambiguity to the game, and there's already a lot of that sort of thing in the game, and it'd be nice to avoid that. I'm not too sure, but I could potentially live with option 4. Now, option 5, I feel like they've sort of just tacked this on the end, and I don't think it's a viable solution. It's gear swapping interacts with Nephilim Valor. For example, when you swap a piece of gear, you lose a Nephilim Valor stack. Yeah, this is gonna stop most people from changing their gear, but it's also going to punish people for changing like a shield or anything like that. So let's say you're dual wielding to deal with most mobs, then you come across a particularly hard mob that's dealing a lot of damage. An interesting strategy you can take advantage of is to equip a shield then, or change some armor, or use a life on hit weapon, or something like that. Have a backup set of gear for specific situations, and I think this adds a lot of depth to the game. Gear swapping interacting with Nephilim Valor is really going to punish this style of play, and I think it just removes a lot of depth from the game. Personally, I think option 5 is a terrible idea. So what do you guys think? What's your favourite idea? Let us know in the comments below, or head over to the Blizzard forums, which I'll leave a link to in the description, and you can let Blizzard know what you think. That's it for today's news update. I'm Ziggy D, and thanks for watching.